Okay, we are going to run through everything required for the collision detection for build 3. I'm going to create a new project. It will be a Universal 3D project from the Universal 3D template. I'm going to name my project Collision Detection. I'm going to put it in my Unity projects folder. It's already selected, and I will create the project. So this should be how any new Universal 3D project is set up. I am using Unity 6, the version Unity 6. And again, we have our main camera, our directional light, and our global volume. So I will begin with a terrain. And I'm going to create a cube, which will be our character controller. And let's go ahead and get our scripts. I hadn't imported any of the scripts yet, so here they are. And I'm just going to shift select, drag and drop. And if you haven't noticed by now, I want to point out that if you drag and drop assets over into your Unity project, Unity will duplicate that file in the Unity project. So now I have a destroy.cs in the Unity project folder, and that is separate from the destroy.cs script that is in the OneDrive. Unity does that so that it knows the pathway to every file. Makes it easy for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and drag and drop our basic character controller onto our cube. And let's parent the main camera to it. Here we go. Basic character controller. If we hit play, we have this situation going on. So let's adjust where the camera is in relation to the cube. I'm going to go into game view and adjust the camera from the position coordinates. Maybe we'll rotate it down a little bit. Cool. So now if we hit play, we've got a pretty normal game perspective. So now let's do 3 things. Let's add an object in the game world that upon collision gets destroyed. So we need a collision detector, we need a destroy object, and then let's update a score displayer as sort of menu interface to reflect what happens when you hit an object. And in this case, the script says if you collide with an object, your score will go up, but your health will go down. So I'm going to create an opposing cube. This could be anything. You don't have to have the same setup that I have. I'm just into cubes these days, apparently. And I'm going to put the destroy script on the opposing cube. So anything that you want to possibly destroy, you will put the destroy script on. Here we go. And if you see, you'll get a little preview of the script on your right, and you'll see that there is a void on collision enter. This is a built-in C# function for Unity. Print collided, which will means when we start playing the game, if we run into it, it will say collided in our console, and then it will destroy this game object. let's also put a collision detection script on our character, and this will print collision to the console when our character, the main character, collides. So now if we hit play, collide, and nothing is happening. And why is that? We don't have any physics on these objects. So we're going to put a rigid body on our character controller. And that is under component physics, rigid body. And we're going to do it on our character controller because if we were to have a rigid body on our opposing cube, it would collide with the terrain and then it would get destroyed without us interacting with it. So you'll see I collided with the terrain, then I collided with the opposing cube, and we did get a warning here, object reference not set to an instance of an object. Oh, it's because the error is because part of this code is referencing the score displayer, which we have yet to attach. So now let us attach the score displayer, and we are going to attach that to an object called WordScripts. If you notice the way that I wrote this code, I said find a game object called WordScripts and put and adjust its variable health by subtracting 1 upon a collision with that game object, but adjust the score to add 1 upon collision with that game object. So let us create a game object and we will call it WordScripts. I'm going to create an empty game object, which means it won't render in the world. Is it one word or 2? I think it was 2 words. Right? No. Ah. And let's put our score displayer on that game object. And now, let's see. Go to the console, click back on the window. Great. So both objects detected collision, it disappeared, our score went up, and our health went down. Hopefully this helps you in building your world. Please feel free to play with any of the design of this or how the collision affects the objects or affects the health, the score. You could create a new variable. You could adjust this. Plus plus is shorthand for equals, like adding 1 essentially, but you could do equals plus 2, save. And you'll notice instead of adding 1, you will add by 2. And the reason why you would say equals plus 2, this is kind of Foucauldian, but you are updating your variable, so you're first taking what the variable's value was, and then you're adding 2 to it. Hopefully that makes sense. Identity and difference. All right, have fun.